All right, welcome to today's coffee lecture, and it's the last in this series. And I'm going to be talking about Mendeley. Mendeley is a software for reference management, and I've used it for many years now. And initially, you could maybe describe the relation of me and Mendeley something like this. So it was a very useful tool. In recent years, this has changed a little bit, and I like it a little bit less. Still, it can be useful, and I will talk about this and what I like and what I don't. So what can you use Mendeley for? One application is, of course, that maybe you are the type, like on the left side of this image, where you nicely organized the papers that you use for your everyday work. Could also be that you just have this big folder, like in the middle, where PDFs upon PDFs pile up, or you are living in chaos as depicted in the right side. And so this could be a solution for the problem of having to deal with so many papers. Then what you can also do in Mendeley is things we also do on hard copy. So we can highlight stuff, we can add sticky notes, so we can work with the text and have it saved somewhere. So that can help. And to me, this is also a very important aspect. Maybe you work in different places, you have different devices, and then you can synchronize. Maybe you read on one device at home, maybe, and then later on you start writing your paper in the office. That could be a workflow. And then I think this is really the key reason why everybody should at least use, or at least for this purpose, use a reference manager, and it's for citation. So here we have a typical citation, or there are two different styles, and every journal has their own style. And as we see here in the first one, we have the last name, then we have a comma. In the second style, we don't have a comma. Then here the first name is abbreviated, followed by a full stop. And here we have a comma, so it's different. Also, the abbreviation of the journal name is different. For one, we have full stops, for the other, we don't. And also how page numbers are written. And the thing, of course, is if you submit a paper to one journal, maybe you get a desk rejection, so you want to resubmit, and then you would need to reformat your whole bibliography. And if you have 50 citations, that can take you some time. And also, of course, this is error prone because, yeah, it's very easy to miss a comma or a semicolon or whatnot. Okay, now let me show you the software. So this is what Mendeley looks like. We have sort of my recent editions, what I read recently on the left side, and also there's a function for duplicate finding. And then I have collections here a bit further down, and collections, they are no different than folders. So that is just simply a folder structure. I can have subfolders like here where I have works from PhD students from different years. And that is one way how you can organize your literature. Then the second is down here, we also have groups. So it's very easy if somebody else, for example, or preferably your co-author also uses Mendeley, so you can share the literature so they don't need to get the PDF again from what you already searched, so you can save some time. And then, of course, here in the middle, that's simply the papers that are within that system. And of course, if I select one of the folders, then I am within that. And so here I have now, for example, a folder test. And now I want to give you an example of how we could add something to Mendeley. And for that, I'm quickly going to go here to my chemistry reference resolver. So we're going to the journal heterocycles, because there I can get nice examples. And so let's get a very old paper from heterocycles. So I'm going to look at issue 1, and I'm going to get a PDF here, and then I will quickly download it and pop it in my download folder. Okay, so let's quickly look at that. I have my downloads here. So this is my paper. And now I think I quickly also need to open that. And then I can use a simple drag and drop to get the paper inside. So that is one way how I can add this. And there it appears. And now if I click on it, do a double click, then it opens in a PDF viewer. Takes a second to load it. Let's hope that it works. So it did work. And now, as I described before, I could process this. So let's say here, I want to highlight text. So I could, for example, say, oh yeah, I want to highlight this in yellow, but maybe some other thing in a other color. So like I have a bunch of different highlighters. Now it seems the colors don't quite correspond to what I chosen. I don't know why that is on this device, but still I do have the highlights. Another thing that I can do is the sticky note. So I could simply add a note here and then say, oh yeah, this paragraph describes blah, blah, blah. And that could make it easier to find it again afterwards, because here on the right-hand side, I have the annotation, so I can quickly, at one glance, browse through these notes that I added here. Now I want to show something else. You see now here, if I wanted to cite this, I don't have the bibliographic information here. Also, the title is not complete. I only have the second part of the title here. But while I'm still on this website, it's also going to be easy to here grab the DOI. And then I can add that down here, copy that in, and then say, yeah, use this DOI to get the bibliographic information. It's still worth checking if everything is correct. So now the title seems to be in order, and also the authors do match what we see. And then I have the issue, I have page numbers and volume in here. So, and now I could cite this. So I've prepared a little something. So I have here a text with a great title and some clever sentences. And then I can say here, I need to install a little plugin for this. And then I can go in my Word to the references. And here there is this tool called Mendeley Cite. It takes a second to load. And so my newest addition is just here. So I can add that here. And then I can do another one. So let me search for a Nicolau. So I add a second quotation, and then I can say down here, I want to insert the bibliography. Yes. And then I have my quotes. And if I'm not happy or if I'm not successful in submitting my publication, then I can, of course, change the citation style and maybe say, oh yeah, this time I'm going to submit to an angewandte Chemie, and then I have it reformatted very quickly. So that's how this goes. With that, I think I'm going to go back to the presentation. Here we are. One thing that Mendeley isn't so good at, and I think that's something that's important for chemists. For example, if you work with angewandte Chemie, then people typically do these kinds of citations where they have one number and then they have a bunch of different references. And Mendeley cannot really handle that. So you have to split them up into individual numbers. So this could be a killer for you. But I've also successfully submitted papers to Angewandte, so you can do it the other way and you still can get accepted. What else is maybe important? We can synchronize between the devices. That works via an online platform. Mendeley per se is a free tool. You can have 2 GB of web space for free for your PDFs. And if you register with your ETH email, then you get 100 GB. And if somebody shares documents with you, they get added. So even with the share together, you only have 100 gigs. That is quite a lot, but if you have high-res things, that might be a problem. So let me conclude. Mendeley is intuitive and easy. It's nice to manage and process. It's good for teamwork. It's easy to cite. That's a good point. If you need a custom style that's not yet implemented, then it's really a pain to do that because it's a not very user-friendly editor that you have to use. I also find that the direct download, so there's plugins for the browser where you can also import papers, that doesn't work so well. So the citations get imported, but not the PDF. And typically I would want to process the PDF in there as well, so I have it in one place. And you've seen now with this heterocycles paper, the automatic recognition doesn't always work. So here I had to manually recurate. And at some point, Mendeley also has stopped having a mobile app. So a workflow I quite liked was reading on a tablet and highlighting stuff there and then synchronize it and later work. And now that's not possible anymore. That's also one of the reasons why I have switched to Zotero, which Mendeley originally came from on the basis of Zotero. And I think what I like there is it's open source. We also have it licensed at ETH, and it has way more functionality. Mendeley has improved since I think it was 2 years ago that I last gave a coffee lecture. Then I wouldn't really have recommended to anybody to start using Mendeley. Now I think it's gotten a bit better, but compared to maybe 10 years ago, it's also become quite a bit worse. Okay, with that, I want to conclude. With this link, you can find a little coffee lecture card that summarizes some of the points. And for those of you who now want to get out of Mendeley, here's also a link how you can export your Mendeley data to Zotero. And now let me quickly open this one here so I can copy in the link to the card to the chat. So that's this one here. And for those who are interested in the Zotero exit, that's the second link. And with that, I'm happy to take your question. Yeah. Okay, so the question from the audience here is if I know about Citavi and if it's better or worse. I don't really know Citavi because it's expensive if you're a DTH because we haven't licensed it. And so we can get this for free. So I haven't really invested time. That being said, I know that it's quite popular in the humanities where the tracing of ideas is much more important. And for that purpose, it's excellent from what I heard. Mendeley did some foray into that area. So they tried also to implement some of this functionality. I can maybe quickly show what that looks like, but I think there's still some potential here. So here they have a functionality called the notebook. And basically so here I have this paragraph, right, that I selected before. No, it's not with the paragraph, but I could like this. So I have this radioactively labeled form. Does it work now? No. I need the other tool maybe. Oh yeah. So I can select something that I have pre-labeled and then say add it to the notebook. And what this does is it then shows up here in one of my notebooks. And then I have basically the quotation and it's clickable. So if I click on it, it will open the document where it came from. I think that's a good beginning, but I think there would be more needed into that direction to be like a fully fledged product. Does that answer the question? Okay.